Thank you, Audrey and Rusty. Ellen Hayden is going to offer our invocation today.
Thank you. Will you pray with me? Holy and eternal God, we come to you with gratitude for the opportunity to serve you and our fellow man by joining together in an organization founded on the principles of fairness, truth, and others-centeredness. Please give us grace, intelligence, and a special measure of understanding of these principles, that we may live that which we profess as we conduct our daily activities. For your bountiful gifts to us, we praise and thank you for our lives, for health, for daily nourishment, for this food now before us. We thank you, too, for the ongoing privilege that we have as Rotarians to nourish our spirits with the fellowship of good people. In your holy name we offer our prayer. Amen. Amen.
While everybody's taking their seats, I'm going to invite Past President Carrie Powers up here to introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests. And please remember the cart bucket sitting on your tables to give generously to the cart fund.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be up here with you. I was telling Leo a few minutes ago that this is the best job in Rotary, is to welcome everybody at the door. So today, we do have one visiting Rotarian, and it's Emerson Smith from the 5 Points Club. And now, at this time, Richard, do you have the microphone? Okay, if you've got a visiting a guest with you, if you'll please stand and introduce them.
Hi, I'm Adam Jordan. I have 4 very important guests today. They're all sitting up back here. This is the team from Capital Consultants, who's taking over the association management for the club as Debbie transitions into retirement. We have Richard Davis, who doesn't need an introduction to many of you. If you live in Columbia and you don't know Richard, you haven't been paying attention. We also have Andy Wilson, who's going to be speaking to the club in just a minute, joined by Della Chadwick and Heather Joy, all members of the team. Hope you get a chance to meet them soon.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Ballback, and I'm happy to have my roommate and husband, Peter Ballback, as my guest today.
Hello, this is Glenn Kalk. This is my wife, Carol.
Hello, I'm Louisa Campbell, and my guest today is Ellen Owens, a really good friend. She just also happens to be the wife of one of our speakers today, Jamie Owens, but I knew her first.
I'm Rusty DePass, and I'm pleased to have as my guest today Josh Ayers, who is Director of Sales for South Carolina Doors. Southern Custom Doors. It's scdoors.com website. So, hey, I'm old, fat, bald, ugly, and stupid, and I do the best I can. But I'm pleased to have Josh as my guest today.
Is that everyone? All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a really great week.
Thank you, Carrie, and welcome again to all of our visitors here today. Please come back anytime. We've got a busy agenda today, and we're going to get through a lot, so we're going to go ahead and get started with health and happiness. Where's Catherine Davis? Here she is on the way up. Our President-elect.
Good afternoon. A couple of announcements. Rotarian Russ Bell had his first grandbaby just back from Omaha, Nebraska last night, and if you catch up with him, where are you, Russ? There. Bring out your phone. We want to see every photo on here. It is full of baby photos. Congratulations. Also, Audrey Brown, our infamous singer, Audrey Brown will be singing the national anthem tomorrow night at the Columbia Fireflies game, 7 p.m. Okay. Did you know that today, May 20th, is World Bee Day? Like Bee Day. It was on this day that the creator of beekeeping was born in 1734. And the purpose of the International Day is to acknowledge the role of bees and their pollinators for the ecosystem. And it was not until 2017 that the UN member states approved Slovenia's proposal to proclaim May 20th as World Bee Day, and that happened in December of 2017. Also on May 20th, the state of Florida celebrates its Emancipation Day. Josephine Baker Day was established in 1951 on this day. Interestingly, and one of my favorite comedians died on this day, and that was Gilda Radner. That was, I forgot what year it was, but anyway, in the 80s, I'm pretty sure. Also, the U.S. President Abraham Lincoln signed the Homestead Act into law in 1862 on May 20th. And here's a little note about blue jeans. You all might know about Levi Strauss blue jeans. Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis received a patent for the blue jeans with the copper rivets on it on May 20th, back in the day. Also, in 1940 on May 20th, the first prisoners arrived at the new concentration camp at Auschwitz, the Holocaust. Not such a memorable thing, but that is a date. Also on this day, in 1946, Cher was born. And for those of you who might remember, because this is an oldie but goodie, but George Gobel was born in 1919. All right, speaking of age, my neighbor bought an iPhone that cost $1,400, and he still had the audacity to ask me if he could borrow an onion. I told him to download it. Last night, now this was really a true story. Last night, my neighbor came home drunk and was knocking and banging outside of his own door for like 5 minutes. And it greatly confused me because my neighbor lives alone. So I went outside and told him, "He's not there!" And he left. Okay. Today, a man knocked on my door and asked for a small donation towards the local swimming pool, but I gave him a glass of water and kept on moving. I know. Oh. That's okay. Listen, when a bird is alive, it eats ants. When the bird dies, ants eat it. One tree can be made into 1,000,000 matchsticks, but only one match is needed to burn 1,000,000 trees. Circumstances can change at any time, so do not devalue or hurt anyone in this life. You may be powerful today, but time is more powerful than you. And I'll forego my dog jokes because in honor of our guests today, our guest speakers, I will not tell you but one. They say dog is man's best friend. I don't believe that. How many of your friends have you neutered? Have a wonderful week. I exit on that note.
Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate the time you always put into your health and happiness. This is a great day for the club. We're bringing in 3 new members, and doing that for us is our past president, Michael Kahn. So I'm going to invite Michael to the podium.
Thank you, President Stephen. I'd like to invite to the dais a trio of special guests of the Columbia Rotary Club, along with their sponsors, and then ask them to turn facing you guys for introduction and induction. That would be Jonathan Jeffcoat, sponsored by Ann Walker. Oh, here she comes. And John Newton, sponsored by Joe Jones. And Nicholas Beasley, sponsored by Roger Stroop, y'all face the audience. This is an interesting troika, all three of whom have sons only for children, which is a little unusual. And two of our three inductees have special, significant previous Rotary service. I know you won't remember their names and welcome them graciously into our club. As I call each of your names, would you take a step forward so that the club can come to recognize you? First, Jonathan Mark Jeffcoat, who goes by Jonathan, sponsored by past District Governor Ann Walker, and is an agent with Farm Bureau Insurance on George Rogers Boulevard. Jonathan is married to Tricia, and his son's name is Wyatt. When asked about his favorite pastimes, Jonathan indicated that while he enjoys his golf and his fishing, mostly he relishes his family time with Tricia and Wyatt. They're members of Riverland Hills Baptist Church, and they live at 128 Churchview Court in the Lexington Red Bank area. Lexington and Lexington High are home for Jonathan, although he ventured off to Charleston Southern for college, where he earned a BA in communication. Please welcome Jonathan Jeffcoat. And next is John Newton. John, sponsored by Joe Jones, brings a dozen years of previous Rotary service to us. A past member of Tampa's West Shore Rotary Club, John is also well connected to our nation's military service. He's married to Jennifer, living on Oak Creek Road in Columbia, and retired now. He left his hometown of St. Mary's, Georgia to earn degrees in education at the Citadel and Florida Tech, and then put in a full 21 years with the Army, concluding his public service with a 17-year stint on top of that with Hillsborough County in Florida. Your opening question for John when you invite him to sit at your table might be, why would someone leave Florida to retire in Columbia? I'm sure it's because it's so much cooler here. Please welcome John Newton. And finally is the Right Reverend Nicholas Beasley. In Rotary, of course, we go by first names only or preferred nickname. And Nicholas likes Nicholas. It's okay, he says, if you want to call him Nick, but please not Reverend Doctor, Father, Rector, His Eminence, etc. It is okay, he said, if you want to kiss his ring every time you greet him. Past President Roger Stroop brings Nicholas to Columbia Rotary. A member of St. John's Episcopal, where Nicholas is rector, Roger regularly confesses all of his sins to Nicholas. The other day, while confessing, Roger admitted to wishing he were a Kiwanis member. Nicholas is married to Elizabeth and, like John, has two sons. His gardening, tennis, golf, fishing, and hiking are the most treasured when done with his family. Now, I was only half kidding about the Reverend Doctor thing because Nicholas has a BA degree from Sewanee, an MDiv from Yale, and a PhD from Vanderbilt. Hello, brains. A native of Knoxville, Nicholas's most recent mission and community work have been in the Greenwood area, where as a Rotarian he served on the United Way, Habitat for Humanity, and other community boards and service groups. Please welcome Nicholas Beasley. And now I'll have to get you all to face me for a moment when you've got that pin secured. These pins are really good conversation openers. If you put it on your suit and buy some additional ones for your other suits, it'll open doors for you. In fact, get a tie with the Rotary emblem on it, like Ann Walker, your past district governor, gave to me one time. You can even get Yeti coolers with Rotary insignia, or boxer shorts with Rotary insignia. Of course, I'm kidding about all that, but except for the Rotary pin part, do wear that, because when you wear this pin, you are being like 1.2 million other Rotarians in this world who are joining you. I want to give you a visual. If you can imagine Rotarians, arm to arm, tip to tip, stretched from here to Evanston, Illinois, and back, full loop, Evanston and back. That's 1.2 million people. Evanston, of course, being the headquarters for Rotary International. That's a lot of people. These are your colleagues, and they're fighting with you for polio eradication throughout the world. They are dealing with problems as intimate as hunger right here in the Midlands. It's a great group. I want to invite you to be involved with it, to share your talent. You've jumped through a lot of hurdles to get to this point, and we want to welcome you to Columbia Rotary. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Jonathan, John, Nicholas, welcome to the club. We're so glad to have you guys. And we're going to keep rolling on. I'd like to invite our president nominee, Mason Hardy, to the podium for a special recognition.
I do also welcome the new members, and especially Nicholas, because I'm a Sewanee graduate. I'm glad to have another one here in the club. The last one was Julian Walker, who spoke like that. We have a special recognition today. I'm the foundation, the Rotary International Foundation chair for the club, and we don't have a protocol for what we're about to do because it's a very big deal. For the new members of the club and those of you who don't know, we do ask every member to give $25 a quarter to Rotary International Foundation. That's $100 a year. And when you hit $1,000, you become a Paul Harris Fellow. And that's a nice recognition. You come up and get recognized as a pin. If you actually pledge to give $1,000 a year, you become a member of the Paul Harris Society. This banner needs to be updated, but that's $1,000 a year. And that brings us to today. Once you actually hit $10,000, having given to the Rotary International Foundation, you became a major donor. We don't have protocol, but this is what I would like to do. I would like to read out the names of every member of this club that has given at least $10,000, whether they're alive or deceased. And I'm going to start mentioning their names now, and then we're going to have a special presentation. Charles Hutchins, Major Donor Level 1. And if your name is called, please come forward. This is not a name of a person, but I do want to recognize that Food Service Supplies, Inc., which was Bobby Blanton's company, did give $10,000. Smitty Harrison, Major Donor Level 1. Jack Huck, past president, please come forward. Paul Mashburn, past president. J.T. Gandolfo, past president. Bill Clowney, past president and past district governor. Key Powell also gave and was a major donor. He's passed. That's Elliot Smith, for those of you who don't know. Major Donor Level 2, Gail Averett, past president. Bobby Blanton, past president. By the way, that's $25,000 Level 2. Ann Walker, past president and past district governor, gave with her deceased husband, David Evans. Thank you, Ann. Deceased Major Donor Level 1, I'm sorry, I meant to mention this, Herman Cauble and his wife Elizabeth Cauble. Level 3, Jim Grady and his wife Janice Grady. That's Major Donor Level 3, that's $50,000. Lastly, Major Donor Level 4, $100,000. Charlie Sloan and his wife Grace. Are there any other members of the audience who are members of the major donors for Rotary International? Okay. At this point, I would like to bring up our new inductees, who are major level donor ones, and that's Glenn and Carol Kalk. To help with this presentation, we have past District Governor Sandy Brooks, who's also the District Rotary International Foundation Chair, and she's from the Hillhead Island Club.
Thank you, Mason. You just made my job a whole lot easier by reviewing what the Rotary Foundation levels of donation are.
Level 4 being $100,000, if you are so inclined to go past level 4, you could become an Arch Clump Society member. Now, Arch Clump started the Rotary Foundation in 1917. We do have 3 Arch Clump Society members in our district. 2 of them have passed, and last night Gabby from Buford Club passed. So now we have 1 in the Sumter Club. I want to thank you for your contributions and your continued support for the charity, the Rotary Foundation. You serve as great examples for what we do. So Glenn and Carol, as you know, 91% of what is given to the Rotary Foundation goes to contribute good in the world. We provide water projects, education, disease prevention, basic education, and help the needy with all of our contributions to the foundation. You also know, but you will probably never meet the people that will benefit from your donation. But believe me, they will know what Rotary has done for them. So on behalf of the trustees of our Rotary Foundation, it gives me a great pleasure to thank you and to present you with your recognition. And I'll come down.
With your recognition, you get a beautiful crystal. And a Rotary Foundation pin that recognizes that you are a contributor to the Rotary Foundation. As a major donor, it has a beautiful diamond. I don't think it will meet what you gave the Rotary Foundation, but so wear it proudly. Because people will also ask you, what is that beautiful pin on your lapel or on your dress? And you can explain to them all the good that your donation does to the people in the world. So, does everyone get this?
Congratulations again. One more round of applause, please. Glenn and Carol have to make it to an obligation for their daughter, so they're going to have to leave here in a few minutes. But so please, reach out to him in the coming weeks to congratulate him in person. That's fantastic. Sandy, I want to thank you for coming up from Hilton Head this morning just to make that presentation. That was very nice of you. And Mason, thank you for your leadership again as Rotary International Committee or Foundation Committee Chair. Now I would like to invite up Annie Wilson. That is a name many of you just heard a minute ago that Adam Jordan introduced from Capital Consultants. And it's a name that you're going to get to know very well in the coming months and years. Annie, or as Adam mentioned, we are starting over with a new administrative services organization to help run our club. We went through a very disciplined RFP process and feel like we chose the best in Capital Consultants. We're delighted that they brought their whole team here with them today. They're going to be working on some transition plans because this takes effect on July 1st, so we've got a lot to get done in the next 6 weeks or so. But I want to welcome Annie and give her a chance to talk to you a little bit.
Thank you, Stephen. And many of you in the room do recognize my partner, Richard Davis, who is here, which is why I'm the one speaking to you today. So Richard and I know many of you from our work in the government affairs arena, but our business also manages business groups and a number of trade associations. So it is nice to see so many of you here that we do know from some past lives and look forward to working with you some more in the future. Also from our team are Della Chadwick and Heather Joy. We do have a large team, so you'll see many of us, and we look very much forward to working with all of you on doing the great work that the Rotary does currently and enhancing that and working with all of you to see that happen. So thank you very much.
Couple of quick announcements for me. Monday is Memorial Day, so we will not be meeting. We will be back here on June 3rd. And we're going to take a minute to show a video that was produced from our bocce tournament on April the 27th. For those of you who weren't there, this is really well done, and Cynthia Giles and her husband Jeff had this done for the club, so please thank her as well.
The internet just went out.
That's okay. We'll send the link out so you can understand. You can turn the lights up, Rusty. We need to get going again. All right. We'll send the link out in the weekly newsletter so you can take a look at it. It was really well done. As I said, we raised over $40,000 this year in its first year. So we can use that to market next year and bring in some more teams. So I want to thank Cynthia and Cutthroat Marketing again for all their work to make that happen. And we're right on time. We're efficient here. I'd like to introduce Billy Canny, who's going to introduce our speaker.
I was wondering if you were going to lower the microphone for me. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Today I have the privilege of introducing our distinguished speaker, Special Agent Jamie Owens from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, which is better known as SWAT. Jamie was born and raised in Lexington, South Carolina, and graduated from Lexington High School in 1997. He spent 15 years in the Army as a military policeman with multiple deployments. And I thought this was interesting. While serving his last tour in 2003, he was deployed with his father, James Owens. Jamie met his future wife, Ellen, over here, after returning, and they married in 2006. He's fathered to 3 boys, but Ellen told me it's really 4 if you count his furry son. Shortly. Jamie started Richland County Sheriff's Department in 2006. While at the Sheriff's Department, he worked on patrol, traffic safety unit investigations, the fugitive task force, and full-time SWAT team. Jamie left the Sheriff's Office in December of 2017 and started at SLED. He's currently assigned to the Bloodhound Tracking Team and the SWAT team. And he has his patrol canine, who will meet shortly, named Woden. Jamie has been awarded the Deputy of the Year when he was on the full-time SWAT team and has been awarded multiple crime suppression awards. Accompanying Jamie today is Special Agent Richard Hunton. He's been with SLED since 2016 and is also assigned to the Bloodhound Tracking Unit, SWAT team, and Sniper team. And he has his canine patrol named Rocco. So please give a warm Rotary welcome to Special Agent Jamie Owens and the board.
Make sure things on. Yeah. How y'all doing today? Appreciate y'all letting me come out and speak. This is Richard Hutton. He did go to Citadel, so don't hold that against him. See if I can turn this thing on. Like I said, SLED, a lot of people know what SLED is. It's South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. I'm assigned to the tracking team, which we have bloodhounds and patrol canines. This is a picture of one of the bloodhounds in the back of our armored vehicle. This is my other son, as my wife said, Woden. I'll bring him in a little while. Y'all can meet him. So a little bit about the Bloodhound Tracking Team. I want to make this fast so we can take questions and y'all can meet the dog and all that. Just give y'all a background. It was established in 1947. Chief J.P. Strong, way before my time, he bought the first 2 bloodhounds with his money to start the program. We currently have 8 bloodhounds. We have a female who is currently pregnant. She is going to have puppies any day now, so that's always fun for us at the kennels, unless you're there to clean up. Currently have 2 patrol canines. Richard here has one. His name is Rocco. He's currently in training. It'll be about 2 months before he gets out of training and he's operational on the road. We had a third one that didn't work out. He was a little aggressive. We had to kind of, he wasn't a good fit for the program, so we kind of had to put him, we didn't put him down. We gave him to somebody. Okay, I want to make that clear. We didn't put him down. But we had to give him to somebody because he wasn't a good fit for the program. And we currently have 8 trackers. And when I say trackers, Richard's a tracker, I'm a tracker. That's what we're called, that's what we're considered on the tracking team. A few bloodhound facts a lot of people don't know. Their only job is to track. They don't do articles, they don't do anything else. They track human scent. They are our last scent trackers, so if somebody leaves out of this room and walks across the street, if that's the last scent, that bloodhound's going to pick up on it, and he's going to start tracking. It doesn't take a genius to do it. I can give the lead to anybody in this room as long as you can read that dog and you can stay behind him and you can track the person. The dog knows his job and he does it very well. They can track very long distances. That's why we use them. A mile, like Woden, will burn out in this heat 30, 40 minutes. That bloodhound, me and Richard have tracked a prisoner in Orangeburg, escaped, 8-10 miles, 4 or 5 hours in. Bloodhound never got tired. So they can track from long distance. But with that being said, they're not truly bloodhounds. They're bloodhound red bone mix, and the reason we do that is bloodhound is great nose. A red bone has the endurance to go long distances, so we started breeding bloodhound red bone together. If anybody knows anything about hunting dogs. They can scent discriminate. They can tell the difference between me and him, or me and her, or anybody here. They can tell the difference, so they don't get that confused. And this is pretty cool. I thought 300 million olfactory receptors. That's 40 times more than a human has. So the way I was told when I started was, when you walk in the kitchen and your wife or somebody's cooking your cake, you smell the cake. It smells great. That dog is smelling the sugar, the vanilla, the egg, everything you put in that cake, he's smelling. So that's how good his nose is. The program, all our breeding is done within SLED. I told y'all that we may step out and breed with another agency, but all of it's done within SLED. The puppies begin training at 8 weeks old. We start running around, let them chase us, see which one has the drive to chase us. If they chase us, hey, he might have the ability to work. If he doesn't chase us, then he's going to end up on somebody's front porch somewhere, probably. So, extensive selection process, that's what we look for, their drives, their ability to work. The adult hounds, which I said, we have 8 right now, they get trained a couple times a week if we can get around to it. We're also taking calls and going around the state during this time, so we try to train them as much as possible. Bloodhounds can be worked by any tracker, and when I say that, they don't go home with us. My dog goes home with me, his dog goes home with us, but the bloodhounds stay centralized at the kennels on Broadway Road. They're checked on every day, morning and afternoon. We're there through the week, so we train them, we feed them, we water them, we clean their kennels, but anybody can go pick that dog up and take that dog anywhere in the state and run that dog. So they're not like handler specific, as some people call it. So they love everybody. Like I said, y'all can run that dog. So here's some puppies we've had in the past. We currently have, these 2 dogs on the right are currently adults now, and they've done really well. The one right here is named Bane. Kind of looks like Bane, the Batman character. He's got the black mask on. That's why he was named Bane. Harley's the other one. But the other puppies, I'm not sure, that was before my time. I'm not sure how many we kept out of that litter, but that's what we get to look forward to in the next 6 weeks is all these puppies. So if you know anybody wants a bloodhound puppy, hey, come get one. So I want to put this up here, calls for service. When I say calls for service, we are a assisting agency. We don't go out and just, stop cars and do things like that. Any agency across the state that doesn't have the ability to have investigators, dog teams, crime scene, anything like that, they call us and we go out and assist them. A lot of larger agencies are able to do that kind of stuff. So here's our call volume. I started in 2017. We had 234 calls. And these are actual dog calls, whether we're taking a Mal or a bloodhound. These are calls we went on. 100 of those were fugitive-related calls. In 2018, we were up to 276, with 175 being fugitive-related calls. This year, we're up to, as of May 16th, 146, and 112 of those have been fugitive calls. So bloodhounds are not being used all the time, and when I say that, when we go on a call, we usually take the apprehension dog, patrol canine, and we take bloodhound because they both have a job and they both can be put down in whatever situation we run into. So, but we are running a lot of fugitive calls because our fugitive guys or Myrtle Beach fugitive guys, they'll call us, say we got a guy we're going after. Usually it's a violent felon. So we go there with manpower, we have dogs, and we can readily apprehend that guy if need be. And that's where the patrol dog comes in as well, and I'll get in that in just a minute with the next couple slides. But our call volume has gone up every year, so we travel the whole state, So Patrol K-9 program, it was established in 2014. It's fairly new. The first dog that we had, he had some training issues. He is currently now assigned to narcotics, great narcotics dog, but he wasn't fit for the fugitive side, apprehension portion. So we got Woden last year. August of last year, I went down there and I trained with Woden for 6 weeks at a school. We spent 6 weeks together. He came home with me every day. He slept in my room. Like I said, I was in Georgia, so I was away from my family for that 6 weeks. Come home on the weekends. He came home with me. But that's him on the left. He's in the helicopter. We do take them on rides because there has been times that we've had a call in Anderson or Myrtle Beach, and it's a very hot call, as I call it. They put us on a helicopter and they fly us down there. We can get there in 40 minutes instead of driving 2 hours to get there. Rocco, that's the dog on the right. This is Richard's dog. He was given to us by SEDC. He's in the truck too. He just had some dental work done, so he's a little groggy, a little ornery right now. But like I said, Richard will train with him for the next 2 months before he's even operational. But he's going to be a really good dog for us. Patrol K-9, this is what we use them for. They are multi-purpose. Tracking, apprehension, article search, area search, building search, handler defense, prisoner transport, and SWAT team operations. I can send my dog in a house with 6 SWAT operators, and he's not going to bite none of the SWAT operators. He's going to do his job, and he's going to try to locate that suspect. Some dogs you can't do that with. Some dogs will bite everybody in the house. We don't want a dog like that. That's why we just got rid of the one we got rid of. So, and I got bit by that dog, so I know firsthand how it feels. So, but to give you a little bit of a story on the building search, we were chasing a suspect in Bamberg. Had chased him all day, all night. He was wanted for murder, attempted murder, several violent crimes. They got intel he was in Newberry. He was from Newberry. I got a call from my lieutenant and said, "Hey, can you bring the dog to Newberry?" So I said, yeah. We went up there. We found the house that he was supposed to be in. We surrounded the house. We got everybody out. 6, 7, 8 people came out of the house. I can't remember. It was a pile of people in this house. One of the suspects came out. We took him into custody, but there was another one we were missing. We went in. We always go in and clear manually, as I call it. Me and him were going to clear this house with our eyes and looking. So nobody was in the house, and I had that feeling we're missing somebody here. So I told my lieutenant, I said, let me put Woden in the house. There's a lot of clothes in there, a lot of trash. Places that people can hide. So we put the dog in there. He goes in, and he clears the living room, clears the bedroom, comes back into the kitchen area, and there's a little bathroom there. And he sits down on the floor, looks up at the ceiling, and starts barking. And I'm like, what? Is my dog going crazy? There's nobody here. And I look in the corner of the house, and there's a small hole that goes into the attic. I said, yeah, somebody could be up there. It's a real tiny hole. But he's barking. He will not come off of that. I'm trying to get him off. He is not. He's very determined to be right there. So, like I always do, I start giving my call-outs. And when I say call-outs, you know, police with a K9, come out now with your hands up. I'm going to send my dog, and he will bite you. And the reason we do that is, for one, we have to tell them our authority, you know, police with a K9. 2, we have to ask for a peaceful surrender. And 3, the consequences if they don't give up, which is getting bit by a dog. So we give those announcements. So I give the 3 announcements. We take up the pole, we slide the attic door open, and about that time I hear a voice. I'm up here, please don't put that dog up here with me. I look at my buddy, I'm like, did you hear that? You know, it's one of those things, so I'm kind of shocked. And he's like, yeah. So I start yelling at the guy, and you know, Woden's going crazy. He comes out, we take him to custody. It was our murder suspect. He was hiding in the attic. But the point I'm trying to make here is he is a tool. He's a location tool. He is a part of my family, don't get me wrong. If something happened to him, I would be upset, devastated. But he's a location tool, and he's there to protect me. Without him there, one of us would have to stick our head up in that hole, and the possibility of maybe getting injured, shot, something by that guy, because he was a murder suspect. So he did his job that day, and he's done it several times since then. He hasn't bitten anybody yet, but he has found numerous people. And when you ask him, why did you give up? I heard that dog barking. I saw that dog barking. I didn't want to get bit. Hey, I feel you. I don't want to get bit either. So, and that's why we're going to this program, because we're running so many fugitive calls that we need these dogs, and that's why we're trying to get to a 3rd dog. Hopefully July, we can find some funding to get that 3rd dog, because the amount of calls, we need more dogs. We can access the state more readily, and I can have some days off. So the next one, if people know what tracking is, this is Woden tracking on the left, this is one of our bloodhound puppies on the right. That's my little boy. I bring him out in the summertime, and I'll have him lay a trail, and the dog will find him, because we just don't always track adults. We track kids, we track all kinds of people. So he enjoys coming out there. All my kids enjoy coming out and doing that. Apprehension work, this is Woden at school. He's getting ready to apprehend this guy there. He's wearing a suit, obviously, but that's what he does. That's his job, and he's very good at it. So sociability, I put this in here because we want a dog that's going to be very social. I can let that dog out. My wife can tell him to do something, he'll do it. My kids can tell him to do something, he'll do it. But I started that bond when I got him. So he comes home with me, I started that bond. Plus I introduced him to the family at that time. And this goes to show you, this is him laying on my lieutenant's couch in his office. He's hot. I put him on the lieutenant's couch. He didn't like it too much. He's laying there. And this here is my 2 older sons. This is the Woden, the vicious police dog right here. Getting petted by my 2 kids, you know, they love him. So, and that's kind of the dog we're looking for. So I kind of want to put that up here to let you know what kind of dog we're looking for. Sled kennels. This is our kennels. We have 15, 18 kennels. So 15, 18 kennels. When people say, oh, your dog stays in the kennel all the time, isn't that? Well, they do, but they have misters, they have fans, they have misters on the roof that cool it down in the summertime, and somebody checks on them all the time. You know, we're constantly cleaning their kennels out, giving them water. In the wintertime, they have wood chips in their dog poos and things like that, but they're fine. And so this is where we house them. All the bloodhounds stay here. My dog will stay on one of these kennels during the day because I don't leave him in the car, because he gets out and I want him to socialize with other dogs. So this is our kennel. So that's one of our puppies in the kennel. Just put this in here. This is a bloodhound wagon. If you ever see that Suburban that's lit up like that going down the road, that means the dog team from sleds going somewhere. So it looks like a UFO. Trust me, people do not get out your way still. So it's got a lot of lights on it, and they still won't get out your way. This is going back to this is the other day. This is Kane. I think we brought Kane today. Kane's out in the truck. He's a bloodhound. If y'all want to see a bloodhound, he's out there. But we put him in the helicopter. We want to know if that dog's going to freak out when he gets in the helicopter. But he's obviously having a good time. He's looking out. He might be getting ready to throw up. I'm not real sure. I couldn't tell you. But we have 3 helicopters at SLID that are always running. They're always assisting agencies, and we can always have the ability to put a dog in a helicopter and go somewhere. So, and they run 24/7, and kind of like we do. We take shifts. Like me and Richard might be on call tomorrow. we're on call from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I work 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. But as my wife says, I'm always on call. I mean, we're on the SWAT team, we're on the sniper team, we're always on call. So very rarely do I get to sit down and relax a whole lot. But let's see what else. This is my contact info. If anybody wants to come to the kennels and see the dogs or take a tour of the facility, they can. That's my state phone number, that's my email, and this is where our kennels are located. We do tours all the time of SLED. You can see more than just the kennels. You can see the lab. You can see it, they come all the time and do tours. But you come out, see the hounds, enjoy the smells and all that. But if you have any questions, we'll take some questions. I'm going to get loaded out the truck, let him use the restroom before I bring him in. Richard can answer your questions. He'll take any questions. And I know this was kind of fast, but he'll answer your questions. And I'll bring the show on in.
All right, I see one hand already. Yes, sir.
Say they have a sense olfactory system.
Yes, sir.
How much greater is it than human? And also, when a human runs tracking,
Yep.
they pick up obviously more than what's going through the shoes. How do they pick that up?
All right, so their sense of smell is 40 times greater than our sense of smell. It's like Jamie explained, walking in, smelling a cake. The dogs are tracking two different things when they're tracking a human. They're tracking raft, which is basically dead skin cells falling off of your body. They fall off all the time. We're sitting here, they're falling off of us, and you can't really see them, smell them, do anything about them. But each person has a specific scent, just like a fingerprint. That's what we were talking about. They can scent discriminate between person to person. And each person has a specific smell. So that's falling off of us right now. Even if I'm in winter clothes and gloves and a hat, it's still going to fall off of me. We train during the winter and we bundle up as tight as we can, but the dogs still track us. There's no way you can hide it unless you get in like a Tyvek suit and run, and you're not going to go very far in a Tyvek suit. Not in South Carolina. The second thing is, I see you. I'll get to you in just a second. Second thing is called environmental scent. Everybody knows what a fresh cut field of grass smells like, right? Well, that's thousands or possibly millions of blades of grass that have been cut, and that creates a certain scent. Well, when you walk through a field and you crush grass with your feet by stepping on it, the dog's sense of smell is so acute that it can smell where it's been crushed and where it happened over here. So he's got environmental scent that he can smell, or if you scuff some dirt up, that dirt's going to smell different than the other dirt over here that hadn't been scuffed up. So he's got two different things that he can really track and try and find, locate the trail and continue to track the person. Does that kind of answer what you're asking? Yes, sir, in the back.
Do you go to court and have to testify? And if you do you have to qualify those dogs that are used in your cases? Are you required by the defense to qualify them as like your expert on them?
Right, so yes, we do have to go to court and testify. I had to testify in a murder trial out of Berkeley County last fall that was from 2016, and it finally went to trial last fall. The deal with certifying dogs, with patrol dogs, you have to certify in tracking. You have to have an outside certifying agency certify your dog, and it says that he can track on these surfaces, and it can track, the trail has been aged so long. For patrol dogs, we call the patrol dogs pointy-eared dogs because they have pointy ears, and then we call the bloodhounds floppy-eared dogs because they have floppy ears. So if I say that, y'all know what I'm talking about. With the bloodhounds, the courts have said that the bloodhound's natural tracking ability says that it doesn't need to be certified. They're that good at tracking. They're created that well to do that job, to smell stuff, to track stuff, that they don't need to be certified with a certain handler like Woden would be. Or Woden or Bosco would be. Yes, sir.
So I noticed that over the past few years, there seem to be more and more enforcement execution calls. Is that you guys institutionally do fugitive calls, or is that more people doing that publicly?
So our fugitive team will call us and say, hey, we're going to Calhoun County, or we're going to Allendale County. We've got a guy, he's wanted for murder, he's wanted for whatever, usually a violent felony. And they want us to go ahead and be there. It gives them several things. It gives them manpower. It gives them two guys, because there's always two trackers that go on every call, two guys that are on the SWAT team.
We've trained them in tactics and stuff like that we can help them out with that. It also gives them dogs. It'll give them an apprehension dog and a bloodhound. If that guy sees us coming or something like that and runs out the back door, we can put a dog down immediately instead of that future investigator being all the way down in County. He gets excited. He likes to talk to everybody. Instead of them we're being behind the curve coming from Columbia, they can call us and go ahead and go there. We'll be there to assist them in apprehending. We may use a dog. We may put the dog around back. Does that explain? Okay. Yes, sir.
I hope it's okay to ask a question.
Sure.
I just watched Cool Hand Luke. They threw pepper down. Luke threw pepper down. Will that throw them off?
No, sir. A lot of people.
That was not a truth.
You know, it's amazing that everything you see in the movies is not true. I know that everybody's feeling. No. People try all kinds of crazy stuff. They'll try and bundle up, like I talked about. They'll try and run through a creek. The scent is still going to be there. You know, dogs track through all different kind of environments. They track across all different surfaces. If you run through a creek, that scent's still going to fall in the creek. And the water may take it down here, and the dog may go down here a little bit downstream, but then it's going to come, it's going to say, all right, it's going to peter out at some point, and we'll cut the dog back up and catch the trail on the other side. The scent's still there, okay? Yes, ma'am. I'm coming, okay? Yes, ma'am.
What does it cost to train one of them, and about how long does it take?
So the cost for a bloodhound, they start at 8 weeks. We train them in-house. We bred and raise our own dogs. And the police canine guys over there will go and watch those trials and say, that dog scored really well, we want that dog, and then they'll buy the dog. There's also vendors from the U.S. that will import the dogs. They'll look and say, hey, I want that dog, I want to import it, and sell them to police in the U.S. The cost for, how much was Woden, Jamie? Oh, you got the shirt.
Usually anywhere between $6,000 and $12,000 is what it costs for a dog like this. The dog itself is probably $6,000. The training is probably $6,000. Sometimes we do our training in-house, but to get a dog between 6 and 9, depending on what the dog is trained in, like you say, the title dogs are a little more expensive because they have better obedience and stuff like that.
So the dog itself will cost so much, and then the training of the handler and the dog together will cost an added amount. Yes, ma'am.
At what age do they retire, or just when they?
That's dependent on the dog. Usually around between 8 and 10 years old. It's dependent on the dog though. If they start wearing out, we see their stamina start to decrease. I know I've been missing people over here. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Are the drug and bomb dogs a different entity?
Yes, sir. So SLED is a very specialized agency. There's narcotics investigators, and they do narcotics. That's all they do from day to day. There's bomb squad members, and they do bomb squad stuff. They train, they take care of their equipment, they go to calls. That's all they do. The dogs are just exactly that. They are specific to whatever their job is. We have narcotics dogs, bomb dogs, arson dogs, and tracking and apprehension. So tracking and apprehension are under our kind of own little umbrella, and then the other dogs are under each separate division. Yes, sir.
Give an example of that house you went into.
Yes, sir.
You guys came up and you're taking relation to German Shepherds.
Yes, sir.
What happens if that dog meets a friendly dog in the yard or something like that?
Right.
Do they?
It depends on the dog's nature. Woden, he's fine with smaller dogs. Bigger dogs, he kind of gets a little defensive about. We always, when we're going up to a house, we try and push our vision out a little bit and see what's in the yard. If we see, hey, there's a big pit bull in the yard, we'll try to either make sure that pit bull's out of the way, we can move him out of the way, or try and get him out of the way or something like that, or we'll just not be able to use that right there in the yard. If the guy runs, we can go outside the yard with
My dog comes running. My dog's 67.
Right.
He comes running up trying to be friendly.
Yeah. Woden won't give him any problem. The handlers have to be very attuned to what's going on around them, and just kind of respond accordingly. So that's part of it. Yes, ma'am.
When your average dog tracking fusion dogs, have they ever been shot?
No, ma'am. We always try and give our dogs as good of protection as possible. We're always there with them. We don't run them off lead very much, which means they can get out further in front of us. We're always right there with them. And in the case of Woden and Rocco, they are sworn law enforcement officers. And our use of force would be dictated just like if somebody were shooting at Jamie, somebody shooting at that dog's a sworn law enforcement officer. So,
badge credentials there.
Yeah, he's got badge credentials with his picture on it. We have to take him to headquarters and he sits there and takes pictures. There's another question back here. Yes, sir.
I was just wondering about the bloodhounds. You said they're not really bloodhounds. They're with red bloodhounds.
Yes, sir.
How long has that been a tradition, and what's the difference in the two breeds?
Yes, sir. So he's asking about the crossbreeding the dogs. I don't know if everybody can hear back there. Crossbreeding the bloodhound and with a red bone and a blue tick hound has been a tradition for quite a while. A purebred bloodhound has a great nose. He's got the gold standard for a nose as far as tracking, but his stamina is not there, and it's supposed to be like 98 to 100 degrees all week next week. And if we had to go on a tracking call, a purebred bloodhound would not last very long. So we breed in a red bone and a blue tick hound. That gives them a lot better stamina. If you look at a blue tick hound, they got sleek skin. It's not all the saggy, floppy skin that a purebred bloodhound would have. We breed that in. It gives them a lot better heat tolerance. It does very well. It also gives them a higher drive. A bloodhound might just be, so. A red bone and a blue tick hound have a little bit higher. Hey, I want to, let's go. I want to find this guy that I'm looking for. That kind of deal. So it's been a tradition for, I would say, probably the 60s, 70s that we've tried to get the best of both worlds. Yes, sir.
Back to your point about them being a sworn officer and her question about the dogs being shot. If that dog is a sworn officer, does that mean that if someone shoots that dog, it carries the same penalty as killing a cop?
James?
They're getting ready to try to pass a law. Back when I was in the county, Fargo got killed. The county dog got killed in line of duty. I don't know if y'all understand. They're trying to pass a law called Fargo's Law now that it does carry the same penalty if he gets if the dog gets shot too. Obviously it's a dog, it's an animal, but they want it to be a penalty where people with prison. So yes, they're trying to do that now.
I'm going to stop it right there just because we're out of time. Special Agent Owens and Officer Hunt, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you to Woden and Rocco and Bain. Unfortunately, Rocco and Bain had to sit in the car the whole time. Jamie said y'all can come up here afterwards and meet the dog. We're going to forego singing. Next week we have Nancy Stone Cullen coming. She's from the Richland County Conservation Commission.
2 weeks.
Excuse me, 2 weeks. I do that every time. That's all that time. I think we're having more Monday holidays. June 3rd we have Nancy Stone Cullen coming. So she's from the Richland County Conservation Commission. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.